And hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. So today we'll be creating a basic calculator using CSS, HTML and JavaScript. Now open up your text editor and make 3 files. One file for HTML, one file for CSS and one file for JavaScript. Okay, now you've saved it, let's make our HTML. I'm using Sublime Text, so I can easily just type in HTML and there it is. Now you can give it any title you want. I'm going to give mine calculator because it is basically a calculator. Okay, now let's just open up our calculator. Okay, it doesn't have anything yet since we haven't added anything. Now let's link our CSS and our JavaScript files. There aren't a lot of CSS, so if you want you can add CSS into the HTML and not in its own file, but I suggest that you do just to make everything look a little bit better. Okay, next up let's create a div and give it an ID called container. Everything is going to go into this little part here. This is going to be the body for the calculator. Okay, now let's create another div with the ID called output. All the answers are going to go into this, so this is the output. Okay, now let's create a button and just put whatever name you want in it. We can give it an on-click, but we're not going to do anything with it just yet, so you can just leave it like that. And then just give it any name. I'm going to call mine, I don't know, calculate. Okay, now let's go check it out and see. As you can see, we have a button, but it doesn't do anything. So yeah, now let's go to the CSS to style the button and everything around it. Okay, now first let's edit the whole body. So we're going to make the background color black, and we're going to make the text color orange. Next up is the button. We're going to make the border radius 5 pixels, so it has a nice round smooth. Then we're going to make the border 2 pixels, solid and orange, so it blends nicely in. And then the background color will be black, so it can blend in with everything around it. Just for in case, we'll make the color orange, which will make the text color orange, just for in case. Then the position will be absolute, and the top will be 92%, left 38%, and then just to make it a little bit bigger, we're going to make the height 25 pixels. Okay, now let's check out how it looks, so we can just get an idea. As you can see, there's the button. Still doesn't work, but it looks pretty nice. Next up is the container. So in the container, remember that's the whole calculator. So let's make the width 330 pixels, the height 400 pixels, the border 1 pixel solid orange, so you can fit in with everything around it. Position relative, we'll make the left 35%, the top 100 pixels, so it's not too high. Border radius will be 5 pixels, nice and smooth rounds. And the box shadow of 4 pixels, 10 pixels gray, and then -4 pixels, -4 pixels, 10 pixels gray, which will allow us to give it a nice look on the edge. Now let's check out how it looks. As you can see, it already looks beautiful against how it did look at the beginning. Okay, and next up is the output. So we don't want to mess with it too much, so just add the output and give it a margin of 4 px to the left and a margin top of 3 pixels. That's all. Now we can start with the JavaScript. So we're going to use a function to make everything work. So start with function calc. Now inside of the function we will add two variables, variable num1 and variable num2. Now we can add another variable called input. Input equals prompt, which will show us a pop-up box asking us what we want. Then what do you want to do? In quotation marks. Then /n plus equals plus /n minus equal minus, and just follow my lead all of this until we get to power off. Now we can start with the if statement. So if input equals in quotation mark x, then num1 equals prompt, please input your first. Then it is num2 equals prompt, then num1 plus in quotation marks plus. Now we can add another variable called ons, or answer, it's up to you. Then we equal it to parse float, which will ensure if it's like a float like 1.2 you can still work it out, num1 plus parse float num2. Now we can just input document.getElement by id in brackets in quotation marks output. This will put everything inside the output. Then outside of the brackets .inner HTML plus equals in brackets num1 plus in quotation marks plus, and then outside of the quotation marks plus num2 plus in quotation marks equal outside of the quotation marks plus answer plus in quotation marks break line. Now basically the next part is more like a copy and paste, but you just have to edit a few things. So let's quickly copy this and paste it. Now you basically just have to turn most of the plus signs into minus signs. Now I forgot quotation marks here, so let's quickly put quotation marks there and there with a minus. Let's quickly turn all the pluses into minus. Now let's quickly give the button an on-click called calc. This will start the function calc. Now let's quickly see if everything works. Okay, refresh that, calculate. Only the first two work so far, so let's quickly insert a plus. And then we just go okay, add a number, and another number. Voila. Now most of the rest is the same story of copy and paste, except I think for the last two, or maybe just the last one. So let's quickly do it up until then, and yes. Okay, now this last one, the only difference is because it's a square root, you only have one number, so there isn't a num2, and we're going to use the math function, math.square root, and yeah, Next up is the power 2, like x to the power of y. Now it's mostly the same as the rest, except for the text, and the answer is used of a different way, math.pow num1, num2. Now let's quickly see if all of our equations work now, or at least most of them work. Okay, now so we just don't get confused, we're going to comment there at the end, this is the end of the function. We don't want people to give us an invalid input, for example a letter M instead of the input plus or minus, you get me? So we're going to create an if statement that's going to tell them, hey, you're not allowed to do this. So just copy everything I have here and then we shall test it out afterwards. Let's quickly see if it works. Refresh, calculate. There's a problem. Okay, let's quickly go figure it out together. Seems like at the end of the if statement I accidentally added another or, so just remove that and boom, it's fixed. Now let's go check it out again. Let's quickly test out the invalid input. As you can see, that works beautiful. Okay, now let's try a few other things, maybe, or something. Okay, so that will go out if you do something that you shouldn't. And okay, let's do something seriously now and add yeah, then just work that out. And there you go. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and see you all in the next video.